Did you really think that Bonnie and Clyde, the messiest people in Harlem, would get away with faking a whole baby in order to keep their purses full and their names popular? Oh, because what I'm going to reveal is amazing Imagine waking up to. Leaked footage of Chrissy, the self-proclaimed ride-or-die queen. It's so filthy, humiliating, and disgustingly on brand for these two that not even the most petty corners of Twitter can portray this scandal. While Cam'ron, Mr. Pink Mink himself, stands 3 steps back, directing this filthy soap drama like the puppet master of Harlem's dime store. He whispers, "Sweet baby," into a burner phone. He double-checks his phony doctor's notes and fake tears. Checkmate. Ask yourself how deep this rabbit hole truly goes. How many sponsorships, reunion deals, and phony charity checks did these to cash in while everyone applauded? A check secret? Cash drops under cheap hotel doors. You will never look at a baby bump the same way again after we finish today. I promise. This expose could blow up the internet. The worst part is that the receipts are leaking out one by one. Twice before lunch. Let's dismantle the circus's squalid exterior because, believe me, the so-called power couple of Harlem didn't suddenly make a mistake. No, this filthy masterpiece was years in the making. Hidden under the surface of reality, let's go back to the golden age. When Chrissy Lamine crowned herself the First Lady of Harlem and Cam'ron strutted around like a star, showing tears, staged engagement rings, and Instagram captions so fake they could catfish a ghost Jim Jones. Bless his devoted fool heart, believed he had the last unbreakable brotherhood in Harlem at that time. But beneath all that dipset nostalgia, there are snake pits, hush money, and a fake baby belly that would make people claim that the rot began in 2017. When VH1's reunion specials began to draw stale ratings, and even Mona Scott Young questioned whether this was too scandalous for cable TV, Chrissy realized her cryon. Q skills were deteriorating quickly. And Cam was aware of a solo. Buzz was marred by half-baked tour flyers and nostalgia from 2005. So what's two hustlers with dusty limelight doing? A new disaster comes in the form of phony baby plot insiders, which I mean Chrissy's former nail technician who couldn't tone shady brunch at Harlem Tavern. Chrissy leaned over her mimosa, tapped Cam's iced-out watch, and hissed, "What if the world thinks I'm pregnant again? Keep your mouth shut, please." "That's what I swear. If you sell it right, we all eat good," Cam mumbled, taking out his second phone, not the public one, without even flinching. From that, brunch on baby scams turned into baby plans, and Chrissy refollowed former brand sponsors on Instagram and made friends with reality show producers who vowed never to collaborate with him again following the 2011 backstage breakdown, leaving Jim oblivious. Every time she texted him, "I love you, Daddy," at 2 a.m, Jimmy continued to believe it. In the spring of 2022, as I was surreptitiously organizing hush payments for dubious ultrasound invoices, a suspicious bump began on sites that appeared on Chrissy's selfies, argued, "She's glowing." Meanwhile, barbershops in Harlem muttered, "She's glowing, but that belly looks like a pillow." Cam, meanwhile, took advantage of every scrap of influence he had by teasing the team about giving them new life. Teasing mysterious Instagram stories with baby symbols and making crude fun of Jim. A true man owns his faults, nourishes his seeds, and it was successful. Sponsorship offers appeared everywhere. Baby brands, mommy podcasts, maternity photos, and one insider revealed that a large vitamin company gave Chrissy a 5-figure deal for a pregnancy health voyage vlog on YouTube. But they had no idea that the only thing expanding was her bank account, not her womb. This is where things get dirty, for these two didn't just act like they were traveling OBGYNs. They made the lie appear as convincing as possible. From Jersey, who allegedly had her license revoked in 2018 due to dubious medical records, was on Cam's private peril. The documents included phony blood work, phony sonograms, and phony prenatal appointment receipts. all of which were made on a burner laptop and saved to Anna's gym, took hazy bathroom pictures with Chrissy's manufactured bump. Cam sat 2 blocks away at a hookah lounge, laughing with his inner demons, and handed over the encrypted USB to Chrissy before any suspicious PR. Agent could ask for confirmation of due dates. Circle Harlem is still foolish enough to purchase anything if you add some reality TV tears to it. It's not surprising though. It's because everything might have remained buried as well if it weren't for one mistake that even Cam's paranoia couldn't correct. Yes. The same housekeeping staff member who discovered a remarkably flat pregnancy belly. Banned in a trash can linked to 3 unused prenatal pill bottles she seized from that notorious Midtown hotel room, she sent a picture to a Harlem gossip blogger who was desperate for views. Within hours, the hashtag Chrissy fake bump trended. Cam's phone exploded with death threats from yelling dipsets instead of congrats. Even Mona Scott Young, the queen of give me the mess, I'll spin it, refused to answer her calls after he had stabbed his brother for clout money. And Watit gets more spicy since the leak was only the appetizer. The main dish was followed by bank statements, digital folders, and screenshots of hush money and phony prenatal care released by an unnamed whistleblower, who some claim was a dissatisfied intern from Cam's brief podcast business. Hotel room reservations under fictitious LLC names, such as Mommy Empire Consulting LLC, and fans did what fans do best. They connected every mistake and meme, roasting the entire scam into the following week's tick. Talk Detective Match Dates. Twitter was ablaze all night over Chrissy's alleged due date for her club gigs, where she somehow had abs by midnight but a bump by breakfast. Did Jim fail to see this coming? Cam has been a snake since Dipset's debut mixtape. You Guys. Jim attempted to play damage control and post a prayer hands emoji on Instagram. But if you thought this was the last leak, fasten your seatbelt because Harlem's messiest soap opera was far from ended. Here are more screenshots. Released, this time from Chrissy's cousins pilfered iCloud private voice notes, burner phone recordings, and an eerie agreement with a dubious public relations company that promised a viral release of pregnancy-related deserilated content. While Cam disappeared without a trace, Harlem knew he was guilty of sin or planning the next chess move because of his cryptic live, lack of a freestyle diss track, and lack of even a single spiteful tweet. Chrissy, on the other hand, was unable to conceal when cameras saw her sliding out of his sponsors, fled when the vitamin brand refunded the pregnancy photo studio lawsuit threat, left the nail salon with no belly, no ring, and no idea how to turn this PR car accident into a new salary. Even worse, one company tweeted savagely, "We do not condone fake babies, and we have terminated all collaborations effective immediately." The internet crashed again. So if you believe this scam ended at the revealed hotel, stop and take a deep breath. You're beautifully misinformed. This baby bombshell wasn't just about clouds. It was the ticking time bomb that exploded Harlem's final fairy tale romance, shattered loyalty, and prompted a federal audit. And just when all of that was about to happen, what happened next didn't just include Torty and Cam. It also brought some old pals back into the shady spotlight they claimed to have left behind. If you were hoping that Harlem gossip would finally stop, think again. Part 2 is about 2. You thought the barbershop rumors and Twitter memes were sufficient to expose the hoax. You'll wish this was simply lousy reality TV at the end. Oh, sweetie, welcome to the not only did Chrissy and Cam'ron reveal the real Harlem with the dripping receipts, but they also pulled a switch that transformed the dusty backstage secrets of Harlem into a federal sideshow that no one, not even Mona Scott with her unbreakable NDAs, could sweep. 2 days after the hashtag Chrissy fake bump broke the trending charts, it's the same irate intern who threw out the hotel band invoices and the burner laptop screenshots continued to do so. This is how things went south under the reunion rug. A whistleblower shared a single encrypted file called Mommy Empire PR Plan _final on a dubious message board. It contained a wealth of emails, WhatsApp conversations, and signed pitches detailing how Chrissy Cam and 2 dubious PR managers. Phase 1 public reveal. Phase 2 fake ultrasound leak. Phase 3 paparazzi bump sighting. Phase 4 brand deals. Secured Phase 5 strategic miscarriage was the bullet point of a 6-month viral parenting tale. In order to get fans to queue up with tissue boxes and hashtags, pleading with VH1 to release a special reunion. The narrative for Sympathy and reunion plot stated that, in addition to staging a pregnancy, they also plan to stage sadness. When the internet saw that bullet point explosion in Harlem, half of it demanded that Chrissy be banned from all networks that ever offered her a reunion check, while the other half yelled, Cam was the evil puppet master. Genius forcing the Queen of Harlem to exchange her last remaining dignity for crumbs of power. Jim Jones, who referred to himself as the last devoted king of Harlem, went nuclear in the meantime, forgetting the prayer hands. Over 200,000 spectators watched him sit in a dark studio room with his voice half off and trembling as he shouted into the phone. Forgetting the spiritual words he dug up from his own receipts on Instagram Live. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that you allowed maroon you twice? You're all laughing at me, but I was acting as the father of a lie that she and Cam cooked behind my back. Supporters flooded the chat room saying, "Remain strong, King. You deserve better." The more Jim poured his heart out, the more Cam had to pay for this betrayal, the more the timeline broke down in real time. The more TikTok editors patched together video of him sobbing with old dips set footage, propping millions in a continuous loop of nostalgia and discomfort. However, Harlem's untidy DNA flips at sadness when the money trail becomes tense. The whistleblower's partial bank ledgers, which were posted alongside that PR file, caused tax authorities to become suspicious of transfers made under fictitious PayPal invoices from catering companies, stacks of $2,500 wire payments for the FBI and IRS to an LLC called Harlem's Events, disguised as prenatal wellness consultancy, were a breadcrumb trail with extra cheese by sunrise. And word quickly circulated throughout the federal government. According to rumors, Homeland Security knocked on one of Cam's former Queen studios about 500 a.m. in search of backup discs. And one gossip blogger even shared a grainy picture of Etha Street screamed, "Rico," and racketeering Cam remained in ghost mode, with no freestyle clapback or shady bar on. While the black SUV parked outside Chrissy's cousin's condo claimed that the feds were questioning her cousin for hush money receipts. Instagram doesn't have any petty tweets with sobbing or laughing emojis. Instead, there is radio silence, which is more terrifying for Cam than any diss track, since everyone in Harlem knows that when he's silent, he's cooking something deadly. Meanwhile, Chrissy, once though she was left to drown alone after being spotted by paparazzi twice in 2 days. The first time, she ducked inside a lawyer's midtown office wearing shades larger than her face. And the second time, she sobbed while driving a borrowed black Escalade she allegedly conned a maternity boutique for free baby bump props. And before the brand apologized, a designer baby clothing brand she teased on Instagram with a nasty posted comment abandoned her. "We desire for Miss Lampin's recovery and reflection." And the Harlemans feud don't even begin to imagine the beauty shops filled with elderly people clucking their mouths. I told you all that Chrissy was trouble when Chef forced Jimmy to get that lip tattoo rather than a traditional wedding, which is petty accurate in Harlem. However, the unexpected twist is that just as the PR crisis was burning every pocket in Harlem, a new player emerged from the courting to anonymous Reddit leaks. Shadows, the so-called money puppet master, tipped the intern to leak everything about a shadowy former manager named Reggie, who allegedly oversaw Cam's road gigs back in when Reggie discovered that Cam was using hush money to pay a fictitious baby scheme while still owing him money. It seemed that she harbored resentment the size of blocks in Harlem before Cam abandoned him for stealing club checks in the mid-2010s. The man allegedly went full whistleblower, giving the interns screenshots, bloggers hush tapes, and even a voice. Memo that featured Cam yelling on the phone to a podcast for 4 figures. Chrissy was told, too, you could hear everyone's jaws dropping from Harlem to Brooklyn, including Mona Scott Young, the renowned ringmaster of TV Ratchet, when that voicemail appeared on the timeline. Keep sobbing, move, product man. We earn more. When people think she's suffering, Circus Reunions had to make a dry PR statement. Girl, you can't even spin this mess back onto our shows. Miss Lampkin is not contracted with any of our shows at this time, and we have no comment on unverified Susalima and allegations. Overnight, Cam lost to mid-tier booze endorsements, a T, and his name was discreetly removed off a suspected dipette, while the puppet master's receipts bounced from blog to blog, and the companies continued to run away like roaches at morning.cam, allegedly asked for a $50,000 advance in a text thread disclosed by a promoter for the anniversary tour, promising that the baby plan reaction will end quickly. However, it didn't, and the most heinous leak to date was a secret. A screenshot of a group chat that Reggie himself sent to a YouTube blogger saw Cam, Chrissy, and a public relations specialist talking about which gossip blogs they would pay to remove any unfavorable headlines if the phony baby rumor grew out of control, added. A petty note to ensure Jim wouldn't know until the situation was resolved. Well, guess what? By this point, not only had Jim learned, the entire world had discovered that Dipset's once unbreakable brotherhood had been shredded. Like the trash heap in Harlem, in addition to Instagram memes, contracts destroyed friendships, brand sponsorships, and friendships, with federal snitchels howling. A potential federal tax investigation now had Cam and Chrissy worried about whether hush payments were accurately reported, and where was Jim during all of this? He's still recovering and upset, huh? Harlem's last faithful king hit the studio, and there are rumors that a new disc album called Faked and Betrayed will be released soon. A few cunning snippets of raw savage bars were leaked on Twitter. They had no features, just Chrissy and the gym-dragging Cam and all the fake baby props from Midtown to Miami. If you thought this clown show would end with legal fees and PR apologies, think again. According to Puppet Master Whisper Network, a final hush agreement signed by Cam and Chrissy detailing the precise amount of false baby money that was transferred behind Jim's back and how it was done is hidden in a lawyer's safe, laundered through fraudulent charity donations. And if that document makes it onto the internet, it will not only destroy Dipset's final legacy, but it may also bring down some well-known sponsors. Homeland Security is already sniffing around, and the streets are drooling for the third and last receipts parto. It's coming, and it's the dagger Harlem has been hankering after, because even the rats in the gutter will feel terrible for Jim Jones when the hush file drops. If you made it this far without holding on to your imaginary pearls, get ready for the next chapter in this fake baby story. Don't blink, cause part 3 is where we burn down every last secret. Catastrophe doesn't just put the last nail in Dipset's coffin, it sends the whole Harlem gossip ecosystem into a tailspin, so intense that even the oldest residents of the block are running for cover. Remember that hush file? Reggie's so-called smoking gun was hinted at, and for weeks, rumors circulated in the streets that only 2 people possessed a copy, him and a dubious entertainment lawyer who used to handle Cam's side business when his tax issues were in the news 10 years ago. However, Harlem forgot that secrets don't remain imprisoned when everyone's allegiance is on hold. 2 days after Reggie's group chat leak and a week after Jim's devastating live tirade, the hush file went viral without a major tabloid drop. Only one anonymous Google Drive link was used in the podcast's private comment sections of every post that even remotely alluded to Chrissy Cam or false babies. Within an hour, the link was trending all over the world, outlined how the revenues from the so-called baby narrative would be divided between Chrissy Cam, a dubious OBGYN, and the gold mining contracts signed Undiaz wire instructions and a grainy PDF-stamped final split agreement in large red letters. Jim was kept in the dark until the very last moment. After all, sponsor payments had been cleared by a gossip PR fixer who sold the story to advertisers and concealed a side note in the same file. Every page was screen captured by Collective Mind TikTok detectives, who then tweeted breakdowns in real time and constructed vicious memes, using old footage of Jim kissing Chrissy's tummy on stage, now captioned with clowns and crying emojis. If the hush file itself wasn't embarrassing enough, people from all over the world gasped, laughed, and shared it with their messiest group chats until it spread like a digital wildfire that no lawyer could put out. A hungry blogger caught mother-in-law Mama Jones in the middle of a tirade outside her favorite hair salon. She didn't apologize or use a filter. Instead, she spat out the words Harlem has been waiting for. She claimed that she had always known Chrissy was poisoned and that she had pleaded with Jim to see the truth years ago. Now that he is heartbroken, ashamed, and has a huge legal bill, even Cam can't pull that off. The sponsors moved more quickly than any publicity Chrissy's people could have issued. She shared on her posts about a designer store that tried to sue her for brand harm due to her affiliation with a bogus company that offered baby vitamin specials, canceled branded maternity shoots, and demanded harsh refunds. As the story unfolded dollar by dollar, Cam did what only Cam knows how to do. Instead of crying behind a lawyer's statement or making a tearful apologetic video, Cam got on a live, sweatshirt halfway off. Loyalty is dead and he's the only one real enough to admit he killed it himself, he stated, laughing as he sipped from a red cup while wearing a chain dance on his breast and grinning at the 50,000 people who were watching him dub himself Harlem's favorite villain. Despite the abundance of clown and snake emojis in the comment box, half of the audience clapped because Harlem loves a villain who says things that everyone else is too false to mumble. Jim didn't reply. Instead of doing another clumsy live, he did what he always does best. He hit the booth. 3 days later, an unpolished freestyle called No More Puppets appeared on SoundCloud. It was just raw pain expressed in words with no beat. Fans poured into every Harlem block with vehicle speakers blasting the song like a memorial for all Dipset ever represented. Jim's voice shaking as he screamed out line after line about betrayal. Fake tears and brotherhood become graveyard by midnight. However, amid sadness and clown memes, the real hounds of the federal government arrived. And word quickly spread on the internet that Homeland Security had discovered suspicious funds connected to the phony charity fund that Chrissy and Cam had pushed at. Turns out that their so-called Momir's Foundation did not provide any financial assistance to needy mothers throughout the bump plot. Instead, it sent brand checks to them directly under fictitious corporate invoices. This is no longer in drama, it's wire. Since Harlem understands deep down that this was more than phony belly bands and scams. The laughter in a federal courtroom drowned out the grief when Fraud Bearer Shop began making jokes about the upcoming Dipset reunion special. Not airing on VH1.Instagram captions, the receipts revealed that the family, who had once been the final vestige of unadulterated loyalty on stage, would sell each other out for a messy payoff and a popular hashtag. Just when people believed the leaks had dazed, the dirt continued to accumulate. A name appeared on a janky YouTube video resembling a ghost from an old mixtape credit, Lil Moo, an old die-pit errand guy who formerly carried Cam's duffel bags back when flip phones were the norm, while Jim sat in the adjacent room. Thinking he had finally locked his forever queen down for good, he claimed to have backup drives containing unreleased audio notes of Cam giggling with Chrissy about baby check PAYDAYS files in mysterious tweets implying that he would either sell them to the highest bidder or, worse, turn them over to Homeland Security as additional proof if the funds ran out. It was Harlem's last grim joke, and even the rats had receipts. And Mona Scott Young, the lady that started all of this drama, was nowhere to be seen. She was a ghost with no statements or dubious reunions, only a rumor that she was on vacation, abroad, paying her crisis PR staff triple prices to spin every What About the fans who stuck with Jim out of sympathy, replaying that freestyle as if every bar could. Even the queen of monetized reality drama couldn't turn this filth into a nice episode arc. The others simply stepped back, dropping the last blade that revealed how phony devotion always was. Some even doubled down on Cam, calling him the realest snake Harlem had ever birthed. Ferocious, but honest. Lawyers hovered like vultures searching for the first hush payment. Sans letters pinging inboxes, federal agents shaking their heads. At every new article, and the Dipset logo off their profile pictures told inquisitive bloggers that grand juries were being prepared in case any more fictitious charity checks turned up. Reggie, the puppet master who delighted in all of these leaks, disappeared once more, most likely counting the silence. Jim's final post before permanently disappearing from social media was a black square, with 3 words in a small white font that Harlem needed to hear: loyalty isn't real. Comments were flooded. The truth was that the dream was dead. It wasn't unity, it was just paperwork and performance. Thousands of people consoled him, while others made fun of him for ignoring the warning signs. Some people claim that Cam still has more secrets hidden somewhere. Some say Chrissy's lawyer will get a settlement out of all the brands now acting foolishly about ever working with her, while others say the final scandal might bury them all once. He might release an untitled mixtape telling his side of the story. Harlem will never forget the baby bump that never was, the deceit that turned street kings into cautionary tales, and the betrayal so vile it dragged even after Lil Moo flips the hard drive for his own 15 minutes. When the cameras stop rolling, pour one out for the fairy tale that crashed. The last faithful man was down with it. This was never about a baby. Rather, it was about money, pride, and a lesson etched in block letters on Harlem's sidewalks. Trust no one. And charred, because after that final voicemail leak, it's hidden. Cemetery will expel one final corpse, making Harlem ready for viewing. There you have it. Family, every soiled receipt, every snake movement, every phony tear these as if we wouldn't notice. The so-called Harlem Royals believed they could tromp under your feet. Cam'ron and Chrissy didn't just hustle a baby. Hustled an entire legacy, turned allegiance into hush money, and spat on every fan who ever let out the loudest "Die Pet for Life" yell. But guess what? Harlem never forgets, and you were present when the last mask came off. Now, I want to know whose side you truly support, Ken. The villain Harlem deserves, or the did Chrissy plan the entire circus? Or was she just Cam's puppet with better lashes and a script? Was Jim blind, or was he simply too devoted for a street that eats its own drop? That's your raw theory. Judas Harlem should have been buried years ago. The second Lil Moo drops that final voicemail bombshell, press that like if. You think Cam's next move will be even? I'm reading everything in the comments right now, so don't worry. Got a part 2 ready, to ensure you don't miss the day Jim appears in court without a lawyer. Dirty or smash, subscribe. With that one relative who is still's where dips are a constant reminder to them, loyalty is more expensive than a coat of pink fur, and a phony baby bump remain petty. Locked in, and keep in mind that there is no snake stays buried. No secret does. Quiet, and I'll be here forever, bringing each last receipt into daylight for you. I'll see you soon. Keep your burner phones hidden and visible. Charged.